What it do, guys? Another day, another mid video. As you guys saw, I was doing an oil change on the FC, and basically I had to reinstall that plate you guys saw, the oil sandwich plate, and that allows my gauges to be hooked up. So I decided to put that back in the car. I didn't have it on for a long time because it leaked oil. I realize now that it's probably because it was never torqued all the way to spec. So it's actually leaking right now, but I'm gonna get a torque wrench and torque it to spec. So you guys can see right here that the plate is in. So basically I gotta take off this oil filter again, and then I gotta tighten the center nut that holds the plate down. And I think the reason why it still seeps oil from the bottom is just because it's not torqued all the way and it's not as tight against the oil pedestal as it could be. This is like 2, 3, 4, 5, I don't know, days later. But this is a big time skip because let me just show you guys the update. So after all that work you guys saw of me putting that oil filter sandwich plate back in, I actually took it back out because once again it leaked. And basically because it leaked, I ended up buying a replacement oil pedestal, which instead of the pedestal or the OEM pedestal with the sandwich plate and then the filter, it just scraps the plate itself, and it's just the pedestal with the oil filter. Except this time, this aftermarket pedestal that I got has AN ports for the sensors to go in, and basically that allows me to tap in my sensors straight into the pedestal without having to use a sandwich plate. I'm waiting for it to come in the mail. It's actually from Bonsai Racing, so I've gotten their stuff before, pretty good stuff. But right now, today we should be getting something special. It's also in the mail, but it's an intake setup. So I think I'm just gonna go ahead and prep the intake by taking off stock air box and just getting the engine bay ready for this new intake setup to come in. As you guys can see, the current setup is just stock intake tube to stock air box. So we're gonna get started by taking out this air box. Alright guys, now that we have the stock air box out, we gotta work on getting this MAF sensor out. And it looks like it's just 4 bolts on the back here. Looks like 4 10mm, and this MAF sensor should come out. There's the MAF sensor. This just came in the mail like 5 seconds ago, so I'm gonna open this and install it in the car, and hopefully it all goes well. Pretty much this is the air box setup. This is the connector or the adapter for the MAF, and then we're gonna get a cone filter that's gonna go at the end of the intake tube. So we're just gonna go ahead and set this up. So I kind of got it mounted up. I have to rivet these in now to connect both the panels together, as you can see. Now I'm just gonna go through the rest and rivet them. Alright guys, I just picked this up because I had to measure this, and I finally got the K&N filter, the cone, so we're about to slap this on. And boom, just like that, we're pretty much done. We'll just test it out, make sure no vacuum leaks. Slight vacuum leak. We're gonna go ahead and see if we can fix this. It's coming from right where the MAF is jointed behind the plate. It's just a Phillips head screw. Alright guys, it's next day. What am I doing? Oh yeah, I just got new parts. So this is what I was talking about. So this is for my oil management, and last time you guys saw, I was attempting to put my old sandwich plate back in, but it was leaking because the plate technically would go on top of the pedestal, and I guess it just wasn't a good seal. This right here though replaces the entire OEM oil pedestal, so there's no more need for a sandwich plate. It's just the oil filter straight on top of this, but this has built-in fittings for your sensors. So this should be a lot better, and hopefully it doesn't leak. So we're gonna put this in now, so back to work. I guess the first order of business is to actually prep it by installing all these fittings where they should go. So this is what the setup is gonna look like. Obviously there's a plug that's gonna come in for this, but the oil pedestal sits right here. Your sensors are tapped in. Plug the rest of the holes that you don't need. Oil filter goes straight on top. These O-rings actually are gonna be like right here, and this prevents the pedestal from leaking. You know what? I should put some oil on that before I put it in. These studs are gonna go in here, just like so. And then you put it through, and under it you're gonna bolt up the nuts. So that's the main idea. So the part just came in actually, and just like that. Alright guys, there it is. I didn't really film the process because I was just trying to get it done. I'm tired of these things, and I mean, it's in. I do need to let it dry because it has RTV on some parts, but that's what it's looking like with all the sensors hooked up as well. I really hope it doesn't leak, because if it does, then I basically just have to give up on these oil pedestal filter setups for my sensors to work, or my gauges to work, because then I would just revert it back to OEM and just leave it the way it is. It just kind of sucks though, having oil pressure and oil temperature not hooked up, even though I have the gauges for them. So the difference is, again, that this is the pedestal replacement and not just a sandwich plate that goes on top of it. So I'm really hoping this works. So I'll let you guys know. I might just wait a whole day, so I'll probably check on it tomorrow. Alright guys, mid-season update. This is actually 3 days later, and basically the FC is perfectly fine. I know you guys are tired of seeing the FC be literally just in the driveway and nowhere else, but that's just how it goes when you're always working on it. But this is 3 days later because basically I got lazy to film and the last couple days, like the last 2 days, I was basically just driving it around to make sure that we actually had no problems. The only issue actually is the fact that like my oil temperature gauge reads off, but in terms of, you know, all the stuff that I bought, at least my gauges work, and at least the oil pedestal replacement actually works. I think the one thing that I can say is maybe get rid of the flares, the pan speed flares. If I can find another set of just the wide body fenders with the vent, I might put that on without the pan speed flare on. I think the good thing about the flare though is that it adds a touch of aggressiveness to the car, and it sets me apart from other FCs. I think when it's painted, it'll look good, but sometimes I think also just having the wide body fenders without the flare looks good. And then obviously with the flares on, I gotta fix my fitment because this is so wide now. So eventually spacers are gonna happen, or wider wheels, I don't know yet, but you guys let me know. Do we keep the wide body fenders with the pan speed flares, or do we find another set of fenders that are wide body with the vent without the flares? With that being said guys, I'm gonna close out this video. Everything's working fine on the FC, and in the future videos we're actually gonna be taking the FC out now, and we're not just gonna be stuck in my driveway working on it. So stay tuned for those videos. If you made it to the end of the video, I appreciate it. Leave a like, comment down below what you guys think of the FC, hit the subscribe button, and like I said, stay tuned for the next videos because we will be out with the FC. So I'll catch you guys in the next one.